Hi, I'm Lauren Degg, and I'm your host for this month's episode of Hempfield Happenings. In this show, we'll get a look at our girls lacrosse team and the obstacles that they are conquering, a trend-setting video game used by students and teachers, how certain actions were taken here at Hempfield High School to reduce safety concerns, and much more. Make sure to stay tuned to the rest of this episode for a variety of interesting stories from our school and community. The Hempfield girls lacrosse team has been seeing the results of their hard work, despite the young age of their team. Molly Hooley went to talk to the team about their season and certain challenges that they are facing. Year after year, Hempfield is host to many accomplished athletic teams. However, for the girls lacrosse program, this season is an unusual one. Meet the Hempfield girls lacrosse team, a group of dedicated athletes who have persevered this season despite having barely enough players to field their teams.
We have 26 total rostered this year, which is a really small number when you figure you play with 12 on a field at a time. I don't really have defined teams. I can't say that I have like a set varsity team and a set JV team, which is new for me.
Not only are they lacking players in general, this year, there is not a single senior on the team.
Our team has chosen Olivia Jackson and Hope Shulkoff and Lauren Degg as our captains, and I think they've done a really nice job. But they've definitely had to step up.
Me, Liv, and Lauren have been really trying to do our best to get everyone focused, especially during practice. We try to get everyone pumped up before games because that really seems to help.
It's definitely weird to not have seniors. It's unique. It's not normal, but I think we're doing well without.
According to a U.S. lacrosse census, lacrosse is one of the fastest growing team sports in the country. So what's keeping Hempfield students from joining?
About a third of our seniors leave the building before the end of the school day. They're not engaged in the out-of-season workouts because they're leaving, they don't want to come back for that. So I think that trend, which is positive for them in many ways, but I think it's hurting some of our extracurricular programs, including our athletic programs, because once they leave the building, they're not inclined to come back.
No matter their setbacks, these girls are defying the odds and the low expectations.
Everybody was kind of negative about this season, we don't have any seniors, we're such a young team, we're not going to be good. And I was just no, you don't know that until you get started. And we are undefeated in our league right now.
A lacrosse team that only has 26 players, yet remains undefeated in their league. Due to a passionate coach, a few tenacious captains, and a field full of determined players. These factors are what make Hempfield's team successful, regardless of the circumstances. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Molly Hooley. Beekeepers visited Farmdale Elementary to give first graders a gist of what the job is like and how the students can take certain precautions when around bees. Danielle Leachy visited the school to hear about this event.
In these classrooms, first graders at Farmdale Elementary got a buzz on what it's like to be a beekeeper.
Teachers found a way to implement an interesting activity into their usual curriculum.
Well, one of the reasons we brought the beekeepers in is because our next unit in science is about organisms and life cycles, and this was a really hands-on way for the students to be able to see what life cycles means.
They were excited when they saw Mr. Bee come in. They were ecstatic because they saw him put on a beekeeper's costume, and that got them very engaged with the presentation.
Students were thrilled to put their newfound knowledge about bees to the test.
It's very cool to learn about bees. They have a brush and they wear a suit. I learned about bees that the queen bee and the drone bees don't sting. It was very fun to have Mrs. Castle's mom and dad to come to our class.
My dad just retired. My mom is a retired teacher, and my dad's a retired doctor, and they were looking for a hobby. So about a year ago, started getting into beekeeping. They go to master beekeeper meetings every week and have been just looking forward to an opportunity to share their new hobby with classes, with kids. So they were excited to come in and share, and the kids were really into it.
Educating kids about bees at a young age, like these first graders, can both increase their awareness and what appropriate actions they can take while encountering one. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Danielle Leachy.
Police dogs are an important part of law enforcement, not only in the community, but also here at Hempfield. Dana Greener investigated what roles these four-legged friends have.
In light of recent events, high schools around the nation have been stepping up their security. But sometimes, it's done in a slightly unexpected way.
When there was the threat of a possible bombing, we had dogs come in to search and make sure that that was not a present factor. We've had the canines come in for doing drug searches.
While there are other specialized police dogs that can be brought in, the school primarily partners with Officer Watt and his narcotics canine Ringo.
I've been with East Hempfield Township Police Department for the past 5 years. Ringo has been here longer than I have.
In 2010, the East Hempfield Township Police and Hempfield High School formed a partnership. This permits the school to call in the canine unit whenever they feel it's necessary.
They can call me in for anything. I mean, even just the presence, just to be over there, makes people feel a little bit better when a police officer's in the school. But we'll go in, we'll do narcotic searches and things like that.
This June, Officer Watt and Ringo will have been working together for 8 years.
We have done a lot. We've worked with pretty much every department in Lancaster County in some way, shape, or form. He's definitely served his community well.
Ringo, now 9 years old, is ready for retirement.
When I get home, he's the same as me. He's done with work. He let out a sigh as soon as we pulled in the driveway, like, I'm home. When the dog retires, I pay the township $1, and then I get to keep him. They are sworn officers, but he's still technically considered equipment. And because of that, I have to pay the township because I have to buy the equipment back to have him.
Our officers, both 2- and 4-legged, are devoted to keeping our students safe. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Dana Greener.
Prom is right around the corner for students here at Hempfield. Budgeting and spending can be a concern for both the school and students. Caroline Ulrich explains certain factors that are put into these decisions.
Attending prom is a rite of passage for high school students, but the costs associated with the celebratory event can add up quickly, from what to wear to how to get there. The expenses follow along. One way to alleviate the cost is to do prom on a budget.
Long dresses, new shoes, and hair and makeup are just the essential costs for students to attend prom, but there are also expenses the school faces.
See, really the only charge from the Eden is the cost of the meal. It's $35.95 is what the cost of the meal is, plus then I think they add a 22% gratuity on it.
$39.95 times the 22% gratuity gets the meal up to $48.73, and the amount of seats available for students totals up to $23,000.
So that expense is in there. That's part of the cost of the ticket to the kids. But then in addition to that, we pay for a DJ. You can spend anywhere from maybe around $900 to upwards of $2,000. So that all adds up, and if you would take the cost of all of that, it's definitely more than the $50 a ticket that the kids spend.
One of the largest price tags for prom is the dress, which can range from as low as $50 to as high as $600. Students who plan on attending also pay for tickets, shoes, transportation, hair and makeup, and corsages. In all, with the average cost totaled, high school students can spend from a little more than $200 to just about $1,500. There is a multitude of ways to decrease your spending. One way to do this is to visit a consignment shop.
Some girls go all out for dresses and others kind of stay low budget, but really nice dresses could range from like $500 and up. We drop the price by like 40% of what it actually is, so you can get your dress for really cheap and then your accessories as well. Things range from like $14, would be like $60. You could get your jewelry, shoes, any handbags.
The stigma around prom can be overwhelming for many students.
When everyone else talks about getting like these fancy dresses and these nice dresses, you kind of want to like live up to that. There's no shame in getting your dress like secondhand. It's like for one night.
One other way to save money is to do your own hair and makeup.
I've been going to like friends and like family to get like my hair and makeup done because I feel like everyone knows someone that, you know, is really into that and really talented that won't charge like an arm and a leg just to get your eyebrows done. It's the end of high school, so have fun while you're at prom, but don't make too much of a big deal out of it. Don't feel bad if you don't have the money. Like, you shouldn't feel shamed if you can't afford a dress or to get your makeup all done nice.
While prom is a night to remember, it doesn't need to have a bill that'll take forever to pay off. Save that extra money and use it for college expenses. Be frugal. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Caroline Ulrich.
On the topic of prom, I got the chance to go around Hempfield asking some of our seniors how they asked their date to prom.
I put on her cheerleading hat and I had some pom-poms because she's a cheerleader. And then I said, what did I say to her? I said, I'll be your base and we can fly to prom.
All right, so I asked my prom date to prom with a poster that said, what Oreo doing May 12th? Because I can't eat this bundle box by myself. And I got her Oreos in a bundle box and I put it all out on my card and it looked great. And I had balloons that said prom.
I had a poster that said, I do not want to go to prom without you. And then I got a dozen donuts and wrote prom across the donuts.
All right, so I asked her, I got a bunch of Easter eggs and I spelled out prom and I lined them up through her yard to the word prom, and I had a sign that said, the hunt for a date is over, will you hop to prom with me?
I made a poster and I used little Polaroid pictures. I printed a picture of us and I printed a picture that said prom on it. Then I wrote, could you picture us at prom, and drew a rose on it. And then I picked her up and just had it sitting there in my car with some flowers.
Outside classrooms, known as the portables, have been used here at Hempfield. Recently, they have been closed due to security concerns. Andrew Schaffler spoke with administrators, teachers, and students about this recent change.
The portables were temporary classrooms that Hempfield used to deal with their growing population, but in light of recent tragedies, they are no longer in use.
Mr. Dan Forey, the Chief Operating Officer, recalls the original purpose of the portable classrooms.
A number of years ago, we were in a situation where we had quite a few teachers that were sharing classrooms. We had looked at alternatives. Projection-wise, the high school was supposed to be growing, and so we put some portable classrooms in to try and alleviate and understand, to get locations for teachers, but then also deal with potential growing capacity. Since that time, we went through some difficult economic times. We didn't fill positions. So we had less staff at the high school, and really in the last 8 or 9 years the high school population has remained pretty steady, and so we reevaluated that here last couple of months and started looking at whether we really needed the portables, and was that something that we need to look at moving forward, or we brought those classrooms back inside the high school.
After being used for almost 6 years, the portables were closed down very quickly after the events in Parkland. The district did all it could to inform the students of the change.
It was just random. Like, one day the door was just locked, and it was just kind of like, yeah, like now you can't go out there anymore.
Well, my homeroom teacher didn't tell me that we didn't have the homeroom in the portables anymore. So when I went to go out, the doors were locked and I had to figure out where I was going.
Events like those in Parkland can really open the eyes of students everywhere.
No, I never thought about it like that, but like because of like the stuff that happened in Parkland, like it makes you think, like realize, like maybe it is a little bit more dangerous than you would like realize. Because I mean, if a person did have a weapon, they wouldn't have to go through like the school. They could just walk right in.
Before Florida happened, I didn't think about it at all. And then when it did, I was thinking about it every day when I would go outside to the portables.
Mr. Egger recalls how easy it was to transfer inside from the portables.
You know, I really think that they gave as much heads up as they could, because after Parkland, you know, after the Florida school shooting, security was of the essence, and shortly after that, we were all informed, everybody that teaches in the portables, that we'd have to vacate. For me personally, I think that they tried their best to put me in the social studies hallway, the 200 hallway. So I think that was definitely something they took into account, subject matter and also location.
Hempfield administrators are always making sure the students are safe. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Andrew Schaffler.
Fortnite is a game that has had such an increase in popularity that even teachers are participating. Austin Groft, a player himself, discussed with students and faculty members about the hype of the game.
There is always a popular video game that everyone plays. Currently, the fastest growing and most popular video game is Fortnite Battle Royale.
Fortnite is a free game for Xbox, PC, PS4, and iOS devices. The gameplay consists of 100 players on the same map who look for weapons and resources to defend themselves. The last person standing wins. Mr. Nachisti believes Fortnite is popular for many reasons.
Well, I think Fortnite's really got a lot of things that have helped make it so popular. The fact that it's free has kind of taken away a barrier to entry, and a lot more people have access to the game. And I think the social aspect of it, people like being able to play a game with their friends. They like talking about the game, and it's kind of spread through word of mouth.
Mr. Mitchell thinks that eventually Fortnite will lose its popularity.
Games, unfortunately, like everything else, they have trends. I mean, I will never forget in 2001 when Halo released, and that had just a massive popularity until other games came out. Then it peaked again with Halo 2, and then it subsided. Every game has that ebb and flow where it's going to be really, really popular, and then somebody along the lines is going to come out with a new game that kind of borrows ideas, or maybe say, hey, we like what Fortnite did, although we're going to try to make it better. And then they release that game, and then all of a sudden you're just going to see a mass migration to that. Not to mention, like all other video games, there is an end to it. Even if you've played it over and over and over again, players are obviously going to just say, well, okay, I've been there, done that. And then try to look for the next challenge.
Students at Hempfield enjoy playing Fortnite.
I've played it. I played a decent amount. And my opinion is I think it's a great game, and it's a great way to play with friends. It's a way that you can hang out with friends outside of school without actually physically being with them. So you don't have to go anywhere, and you can just hop on and talk with friends and stuff and just have fun playing the game.
Sometimes I opt out of doing homework to play Fortnite, and every morning I wake up, play a fresh game before I go to school.
Fortnite is popular because it's free, easy accessible across all gaming platforms, and interests players of all ages. While Fortnite remains relevant, players will continue to get the victory royale. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Austin Groft.
Hempfield High School offers several opportunities for students to explore possible career options. Dana Greener went to the Career Assembly to see what paths Hempfield has to offer.
I realized that it's such a good opportunity.
Each month, the freshmen at Hempfield High School attend a career assembly during their free flex period. A common complaint heard in the hallways is that these are a waste of time. Which begs the question, are they?
We specifically wanted to focus on career exposure because we know that as a 14, 15-year-old, it's very likely that you haven't figured out what you're going to do for the rest of your life. We wanted to do the panels because we wanted our freshmen to be able to see a little bit of everything. And then from there, our hope is they can start to narrow things down.
Each assembly covers a different field. For April, the guidance counselors assembled a panel of healthcare professionals and CTC students to talk about their experiences. Audrey Slosser, an Elizabethtown High School student, was part of this panel.
I was pretty sure I wanted to go into healthcare, and then taking classes that E-Town provided me, like anatomy and biology, I was like, you know what, yeah, I really do want to do this, and I really am interested in this. We had a meeting, kind of like this one here, where a bunch of panelists sat up in the auditorium from CTC, and the Elizabethtown High School introduced us to CTC. They really encouraged us to take that step, to get experience, and that's honestly what made me do it. I wouldn't have even known about CTC if E-Town didn't introduce me to it. I wouldn't have done the research. I would have honestly just pushed it to the side and said, CTC is for kids who don't want to go to school and don't really care and just trying to get out of their homeschool, but that's not at all what it is, and they're really, really helpful. CTC is definitely worth it, and if there's anyone thinking about doing CTC, I would 100% recommend it.
In addition to CTC programs, most high schools offer career preparation through dual enrollment, online classes, internships, school-to-work opportunities, and more.
We have a lot of really great opportunities. Our counseling department does a really good job of trying to promote and advertise those things as much as possible. The counseling department is working with some of our other supervisors within the building to try to make something kindergarten through 12th grade that helps students with career exploration and research and planning your whole way through school.
While not every student will benefit from each assembly, those who do find them invaluable.
I just actually had a student today that told me that she was really thinking about being a lawyer, but then after the career panel on Friday, that she really feels like healthcare is going to be a better fit for her. Even figuring out what you don't want to do can be as helpful as figuring out what you do want to do.
Even though some students might not have noticed it, our schools are full of opportunities for a brighter future. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Dana Greener.
Instead of healthcare. And then
Even before the high school level, Hempfield is exposing students to possible options for their future. Emily McAlpine went to the Landisville Intermediate Center to learn about what their school is doing to benefit their students.
Students at the Landisville Intermediate Center feel as though they are given ample opportunity in order to explore their future career options.
Hempfield Elementary Schools recently had a day where the children dressed up as careers they would like to have when they are older. This is one of the many ways that Hempfield School District gets their students to start thinking about their future.
I feel like Hempfield is preparing me for that because we have so many opportunities. Like we just have so many things to choose from instead of just being like, well, you have to sit behind a desk today and tomorrow you have to do this. If I didn't go to Hempfield, I wouldn't have nearly as many options as I do right now.
So at the elementary level, there are, the school counselors will go in and they'll have lessons in the classroom about careers, and they'll bring speakers in. They do have, like we have a career day in 10th grade, they'll have mini career days in the elementary, and the students will be exposed to different people, and then the counselor and the teachers might do some follow-up, with them.
Elementary school is a time when children think about the careers that they would like to have when they are older and discover who they will become at the high school level and beyond.
That's when we first start to learn about ourselves, I would say. So we get to experience more, and then when you grow up by all the experiences, especially at that level, it kind of sets who you are as a person. So it leads you to what you want to major in.
Kids are often asked what they want to do when they are older, and that question is still asked to the high schoolers. But now they are a bit more well-informed and understand the necessary steps they have to take in order to achieve their goals.
Allowing us to do internships, we get to go out and see what's going on in the world and if we like the job that we're hoping to have. And they give us so many different options like dual enrollment. We can experience college earlier or get college credit. So it's definitely helpful here at Hempfield when it comes to choosing your career.
Yes, there's definitely a wide range of classes that you can take. I always had classes that would help me no matter what I wanted to do.
Hempfield School District has many opportunities for students to learn more about their career options and gain some more insight on what it really means to have that job. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Emily McAlpine.
Spooky-Nook Sports has recently bought a nearby location known as Lanco Fieldhouse to keep up with their skyrocketing business. Tisha Pham met with employees from both locations to get a better understanding as to why Spooky-Nook needs more space.
Known as the largest sports complex in North America, Spooky-Nook continues to meet their demands for more space.
With over 70,000 square feet, the building hosts their own academy teams and over 17 different sports, as well as non-related sports events. As of March 30th, Spooky-Nook Sports recently acquired the Lanco Fieldhouse building, which was available for sale.
We were looking to expand anyway because we have actually, believe it or not, even being 14 acres, have had to turn business away because we're not big enough to accommodate everything that everyone wants from us all the time. We are still in the process of figuring out. The fun thing about purchasing a new building is that we're all kind of learning together what works and what doesn't. We're still kind of learning the building, learning the layout, and seeing what makes the most sense to move over there.
The purchase of the Lanco Fieldhouse will provide opportunities for events and athletes which the main building did not have the capacity for.
We had a few weekends throughout the winter, sometimes even weekdays, where we were just about maxed out in this facility, and it was great to see, but we needed some places to run some programming that was kind of getting pushed to the side because we did not have enough space for it. So when this became available, we felt it was a good opportunity for us to start looking at another facility to run some of these programs.
Athletes and members can look forward to a new area where they can partake in activities just as they would at the other Nook facility.
Lanco Fieldhouse was around for 18 years, and from the beginning it was offering leagues for soccer, field hockey, lacrosse, a place for the local teams to have access to turf fields, to a nice facility, nice turf fields. The fields that are currently in there are only 2.5, 3 years old, so it's a great opportunity for all the local teams, and it has been for close to 20 years now. It's another property, another opportunity for a lot of people within our company. Me personally, I'm excited about it, and I'm excited to see what we can do with this facility.
The facility was initially put up for sale due to the investors' lack of interest and retirement.
There was a decent amount of investors that were starting to get up in their age and wanted to cash out. They wanted to sell their share. So a while back, some of them asked the business manager, could we look into possibly selling, or at least selling our portion to some of the other shareholders.
This investment is going to benefit the community in allowing people to choose a location more convenient for them.
As you probably know, the Nook in Mannheim is a 600,000 square feet and larger building. Huge parking areas, huge amount of people can be in that building. There can be 10,000 people in that building at one time. Lanco Fieldhouse is only about 60,000 square feet, so it's only 1/10 of the space. The parking lot's smaller, it's easier to get in and out. So for a local person, it's less of an encumbrance to come here.
Renovations are currently taking place at the Fieldhouse and may take months until reaching the final product.
The main part of this building, the turf, they won't see so much of a change. That turf's pretty new, so they shouldn't see a change. I think they'll be happy with what they see, with bringing the building up a little bit from, it's an 18-year-old building, so it needs some tender, loving care. I think they'll see that change, and I think it's going to be a better facility for them.
Now called Spooky Nook Sports Lanco, this additional facility will support the growth of the company. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Tisha Pham.
That's all for our 351st show of Hempfield Happenings. Make sure to tune in next month for our story on the unified track team, along with students turning their passion for sneakers and fashion into a money-making pastime. Thank you for watching, and for Hempfield Happenings, I'm Lauren Day.